All right, Panther fans. Yes, Fluffy. He's as soon as I said that, he's staring right at me. So, um, I know you guys are used to us having, guys like Randy Moeller and Billy Lindsay on the show. I couldn't get them today, but I did manage to get Peter Worrell. Peter, thank you. Appreciate you hanging. Where are you hanging out right now, Peter?
Hanging out in Houston, Texas. That's where I'm
Ah,
enjoying retirement at.
fantastic. Fantastic. I like the beard. I
Yeah,
like the
no,
beard.
I like to replicate the newer versions of me. I really liked Radko Gudas and what he was doing. He reminded me very much of myself. I like that Gadjevich kid too, but I didn't want to
Yeah.
get rid of the beard just yet. I still like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can tell if he let it go. I mean, it's like there are no empty spaces in Gadjevich's beard. I mean, it is full.
I'm just thinking of any of the younger Panther fans right now watching this that are Googling Peter Worrell right now. Being like, what the fuck is Trey talking about?
So, for those of you who don't understand what's happening here, over on the football channel, Trey does the Miami Dolphins reviews with Jaws and Trey. And I figured now, first of all, let me bet. Yes, I'm titling this video Florida Panthers review with Jaws and Trey. That doesn't mean the lives are going away. The lives are staying. I'm not asking Trey to get up every morning at 7 o'clock. That's not what we're doing here. This is just a fun thing that we have a lot of fun doing it on the football channel. And I got to thinking, football's almost over. There's only so many things we could bitch about there, but we still got plenty of bitching to do about the Panthers because if we get too comfortable with the Panthers, we all know what's going to happen. Okay. So, and Trey has also promised to not trigger me about Owen Tippett.
Wait, what? No, I didn't do that. That's the only reason why I'm here. Man.
Well, so and Trey didn't even know because he always finds a different name to put. That's why I don't have the banner below us, because if I put the banner there, the Florida Panthers review banner, it covers up our names. And
All right.
Trey always has his own special name. And today he picked Peter Roel, and he didn't even know that the hockey stick hanging above me, you see, I'm touching the card right there. That's signed by Peter Roel. That was sent to me by a fan of the channel last year. It was on one of the live streams after the season when I was opening up a bunch of gifts, and I still have the 8-foot box sitting over there. So
that means I'm going to rob Jaws.
Yeah. Well, good luck getting past my ancient decrepit attack dogs.
Yeah, I mean, Effie, I might be a little worried about. Fluffy,
Yeah, Ellie will get.
I said Effie, didn't I? My friend's dog's Effie. Ellie, yeah.
Effie. Yeah.
No, I have a friend whose dog's name's Effie in New Orleans. But
Yeah.
Ellie, yeah, no, Ellie goes after Kyle and Matthias. Right after you. So who knows what she's going to do to me? But Fluff,
yeah.
I feel like I get on Fluff's good side pretty quick.
As long as you show up during the daytime, you'll be fine with Ellie.
Okay.
Yeah, she got doggy sundowners. So here we are during the All-Star break, and boy, what a difference between this year and last year. Do you remember where you were last year, mindset wise, with this team at this point?
Yeah, this team stinks. That's where it started. I still do it now. It's like a good luck thing, but like last year around this time, it was genuinely this team fucking stinks.
Right.
And like we would be going back and forth and talking about what is it this, is it that, is it Maurice, is it no, it's just this team stinks. Yeah. And that was what I genuinely felt. And then we went on a run and got to the cup, and well, of course we lost in the final because the team stinks. But now we're trying to work on getting a little bit better. We're working on it.
We're getting there.
We I was talking about Perry, maybe we wouldn't stink.
Here we go. Good, just go ahead, get it out. Trey has a me, Trey, Corey Perry, and Owen Tippett are going to go on a double date because Trey has a man crush on Corey Perry. So go ahead and tell us how we screwed up. What we should go ahead. You have the floor.
All I'm saying is we needed a guy in the top 9. Corey Perry, still at his age, is a top 9 player. In fact, if you think, oh, well, he's older, perfect. We're putting him on the third line. It doesn't matter. We need a right-handed shot. He's a right-handed shot. I don't mean to sound like, previous people on the channel who harp on that too much. Speaking of which, welcome to Flying Fluffy Hockey, the #1 Florida Panthers podcast. My bad. But we did need a right-handed shot. He was a right-handed shot. He is a scorer. And if you're talking about locker room, camaraderie, anything like that, he's actually the guy that Matthew Tkachuk idolized growing up. That was his favorite player. In fact, he was in that interview with Austin Matthews and the other jabroni at the draft, and they were like, who's all your favorite players? And they all said typical Gretzky dumb shit. And then Matthew Tkachuk was like, Corey Perry. Love the way he plays. Modeled my game after him. And Austin Matthews looks at him like, what the fuck? You just said Corey Perry? So yeah, that would have been great for the locker room. And that was everybody's big worry, right? People make the jokes about whatever with Corey Perry. But jokes aside, there were some concerns of what did he do to get kicked out of Chicago? So there was, as far as the locker room, Tkachuk is the second leader in that locker room behind only Barkov. Some people look at him as the main leader in the locker room, and Barkov just has the C and, representation only.
Right.
Either way, one of the most important people in the locker room idolized that guy. So I don't think that would have ever really been a problem. And plus, he obviously fits the attitude and the toughness and the tenacity of this team. I just thought he was the perfect fit. Well, and we literally didn't have to give up a darn thing to get him. But we tried and we didn't get him. We offered. He went to Canada instead. But thank God we have Mackey. You know what I mean? He's gonna shore up that top 9 for. Oh wait, he's back in Charlotte.
Yeah. He's trying to get me going. Trey is going to push every button he knows until you get a 5-minute rant, and I say that's it. I appreciate the support, and I end the.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to bring up Owen Tippett until you did it, and we've had this talk off camera before. You either give up a prospect or a pick. You don't give up both.
Right.
But at least Claude Giroux got us a cup. So you know what I mean?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. So, in terms of the Corey Perry stuff, I mean, look, it was I kind of felt the same way I did about the Kane stuff. If you, and it's fine, you know what I mean? I'm biased. I understand that I have a biased opinion, right? Okay. Fluffy is the cutest St. Bernard ever. I understand I'm biased. That said, both Kane and Perry looked at the Panthers and said, I think somebody else has a better chance to win a cup. So go smoke a pipe. Go smoke a pipe.
Well, at least taking my Panther fanhood out of it, at least I can understand Corey Perry's thought process. He went to the team that's still on a 16, 17 game winning streak. They have the best player in the league. Some would say they have the second best player in the league. I get that one.
Right.
Choosing Detroit.
Yeah.
That's just about money. And how much was it about money? I don't know how much Michigan's taxes are, but I know they have a state tax. So
right.
I hope the extra $700,000 was worth it. I mean, look at me saying help the extra $700,000 is worth it. I don't even have $7,000 in my account. But you get the point.
I know. We do get the point. We look, and part of the thing with Kane was that he made the deal with them that if they got knocked out of the playoff race, that they would agree to move him elsewhere. So and then I don't know, man. I get people in my mentions saying he's washed. But we'll see how that goes. That's really the only spot on the team. Is that right wing next to Lundell and Luosterainen. And boy, my brain goes right to what we shouldn't have done to have that spot filled. But I don't want to go there. I want
Nick Cousins?
Well, the Sam Miskevich thing.
Oh.
I grasp the idea where people say he's not completely ready. I agree and I disagree. Is he ready to be on a team that is basically in win a cup right now mode? Probably not. If this was when you look at I know people get sick of me bringing up Owen Tippett, but I'm bringing it up in the context of when Tippett had his chances with us. It was the season before the President's Trophy and then the President's Trophy season. He had 40-something games each year. But we were not, at least we didn't, as fans, we didn't think that we were in, quote, win now mode. So he got those opportunities. You know what I mean? We could afford to give him those opportunities throughout the lineup. Sam Miskevich really not going to get that opportunity. And that's where it's tough, because it's like, okay, so he had his games. We're sending him back down. All right. He needs to develop a little bit more. Okay. So then now we're going to bring in whoever to be the guy for the playoffs. All right. Now going in, now we're not going to be able to re-sign that guy, right? So what about next year? Because next year we're still in win now mode, right? So then you just start to get to a point where we've been with our prospects for a while, where it's like, people like me will scream. I'm like, the dude needs, like I was with Tippett, he needs an opportunity. He needs a chance. Just give him time. Give him time. And the other half of the fan base will be like, well, he's not really ready. He's not really gelling. And then you end up losing guys because they're not gelling, because 3/4 of the team is ready to win the cup. And then it's hard to insert kids into that mix that aren't named like Connor Bedard and whatnot. You know what I'm trying to say?
I do know what you're trying to say. And the thing with someone like Mackey is, yeah, there's parts of his game that aren't necessarily where you would want it to be for where we're trying to go.
Right.
But what we need on that spot on the third line, that part of his game is ready for that. We need someone who can score, who can make plays, and he can do all that stuff, even though he hasn't gotten a goal yet. But if you look at what he's doing in the AHL, the guy can score.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about the stuff that needs to develop, his forechecking, his backchecking, the Paul Maurice stuff.
Yeah.
But he's playing with Anton Lundell.
Right.
So if you're going to give me this idea of, I can forgive what Lundell is doing on offense because of what he's doing on the defensive end, perfect. I'll pair him up with this guy who, they're going to be yin and yang for each other.
Right.
And E2's probably the most complete one on that line, on both ends.
Yes.
Let him learn with those two. Like, who's he gonna play with in Charlotte?
Right.
That he's gonna, what's the word?
Get the chemistry.
It's not osmosis, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Absorb, yeah.
Right.
Like, who is in Charlotte that he can absorb more from than playing on a line with Lundell and E2? Even though those guys are young,
right?
Who plays like that in Charlotte?
Right. Right. Yeah, no, and that it's a tough spot. And then you throw in the third part to that equation is he's there. Let's just say we all agree it's questionable whether or not he's ready. Let's just say it's questionable. Okay, but then in order to get somebody who, in quote, is ready and is gonna, you got to give up something. You know what I mean?
Probably.
What's that?
And you're probably giving up him.
No, you can't do that. No, they can't do that to me. You're
not gonna play him.
That every podcast would be Tippett, Sam Miskevich, and then maybe just throwing up. Like I don't think I could handle that.
You just make a lineup with everybody, all the old Panthers. Throw Trocheck in there. Throw Marchessault in there.
I did over the
Alex
summer.
Klein in net.
I have a video that it's a full 12-8. It's a full roster. It's a full roster.
It's a good team too.
It was a damn good team. I looked at the team and it fit into salary cap and everything. It was pretty damn good. It was like you had Marchessault, Smith, and Trocheck at your top line. I mean, it was pretty decent. And then
your top D pair is Uyghur and Gudas. That's kind of, but it's still a pretty solid team.
I mean, it's not bad. It wasn't bad. I think I had Gabranson there. Pesic hadn't played. There was some rules that I made, like they had to have played the previous season. But yeah, Uyghur would have been there.
Uyghur and Gudas would actually fit really well together.
I don't know if Gudas was on it because I don't know if I did it before
or after. Yeah, no, I'm just talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Mike Matheson might have been there. I'm not sure if Josh Brown was or wasn't. I'd have to go, but I did. I did that last year. It wasn't a bad team. It really wasn't.
That's how you get Huberdeau going again. You put him on a line with Marchessault and Trocheck.
Actually, Huberdeau was on the team, right? So I mean, if you just think about the top, no, you think about you got Trocheck, just for shits and giggles, Trocheck with Huberdeau and Marchessault, and then Lawson Krause with Tippett and Riley Smith. I mean, you went down the line and you had Noel Chari in there. Nick Bukestad was on the team. I mean, it was a viable NHL team where you looked at it and you're like, it was debatable whether or not they would make the playoffs or not. Right. It was like, you could not look at the roster and be like, this team stinks. She was like, that's a team that you could see them getting 90 points and then maybe 96 or 97 and getting in, because the goalies, it was Markstrom and Montembeault.
Yeah, it's Lyon now.
And now it's Lyon. You could be Devon Levi, right? So I'm sure you could probably do that with every team, but it was a fun exercise doing it with our team because, when you haven't ever won, right? You look back.
What you look at is what we could have.
Yeah, you look back and you're like, damn, you know what I mean? And of course, it never works that way, right? I mean, just, you can bitch about Marchessault and Smith and all these other guys, but then it's like if we wouldn't have done with Marchessault and Smith what we did, we wouldn't have Verhaeghe because Verhaeghe basically replaced Marchessault, and Trocheck gave us Luosterainen because we got Luosterainen in that deal, right? And then Huberdeau and Weegar, we're good with that deal.
We're good with that one. No, we're good
with that one. Really, the one deal out of them all, it's not the Owen Tippett deal. That one, we know that one pisses me off. But you could at least have looked at Owen Tippett where he was drafted and all of that and said he has this potential to be that kind of player. The one that really just like makes you want to throw up is the Lawson Krause because it was a double whammy. You signed Dave Bolin to this horrible contract, and then to get out of that contract, you give up Lawson Krause, who nobody really thought was going to be much anything, and then so that's the one because you give up. It was a double thing. You know what I mean? It was like because we signed Bolin. When we signed Bolin, he was going to be the final grit piece that we needed. You know what I mean? So
the Sherratt deal pisses me off too. I mean, in general, I feel like obviously you gotta have the feeling that Zito doesn't necessarily care about first round picks. Because like we just said in the Tippett deal, like you could have gotten Drew with just Tippett, but you throw that first in there anyway. Right. We get Ben Sherratt, and everyone around the league is like, "What? Really? You gave him a 1? Like we gave him a 2 and probably still gotten Sherratt." Like
yeah.
So that's getting annoying.
So where we started with that was excuse me giving up assets at this point for you got 3 options basically. Nick Cousins, Sam Iskevich, or give up assets for a replacement. And so then you have to look at the future of the team and is whatever asset you're giving up worth the difference between what guy you're going to get and Cousins or Sam Iskevich on the third line, right? And I don't think so.
That's why it should be Mackey because Cousins isn't going to do what we need that guy to do on the third line, which is score, and that's what he doesn't do, which is why he's mid Cousins. Right. We don't really have assets to give up because like we've just been going over for the last 10 minutes. We get away all of our assets. Right. We don't have a first round pick until Connor Bedard's old enough to rent a car. Like it's a while until we have one again. And if we're going to be giving up any other assets to get something, it's going to be someone like Mackey. And if we're not going to do that, then let him play because the part of his game that's ready is what we need on that line.
I know. We agree there. We agree there. I mean, I know they sent him back now because AHL doesn't stop. You know what I mean? And yeah, I get. I mean, it's not like he's like terrible on defense. You know what I mean? I mean,
no, it's just not where you would want it to be trying to win a cup. But again, it's on the third line, and he's playing with someone who's 10 times ready for that.
Right.
A guy who can cover for other people. He's that good. And he doesn't have to cover for E2, so he's only having to cover for Mackey.
No. So, defensively, I mean, when was the last time, if ever, can you ever remember a time with this team where you're just sitting here at the All-Star break going, yeah, we're good, man. We're like really good. Like 8-90, like 10D in the AHL. You're like, yeah, all right, if that guy had to play, we'd be okay.
I have things to complain about.
Oh, boy. All right, this is good.
Yeah, I mean, not in my gimmick of this team stinks, but I was looking at the standings, and because of the way, at least the way they do it this year, the NHL changes it every 2-3 years. But the way we're doing the playoffs right now, the first round is based on the division, not based off conference seeding.
Right.
So if it was based off conference seeding, like every other sport, we would be playing Detroit in the first round. Okay. At least as of when I checked this a couple days ago, which it should still be the same as the All-Star break.
Right.
But that's not who we would be playing in the first round, is it? No. Who we'd be playing in the first round is Tampa. And I'm going to tell you, you keep talking about Boston this, Boston that. Do I necessarily want to play Boston? No. Do I want to play them more than Tampa? Yeah. We all know who I want. I want Toronto. I want the bye round. And yes, Toronto fans, y'all are a bye. But I don't want to play Tampa. No, that's my boogeyman. I don't want to see them. No. They're big brother, even though they used to be little brother. And I hate that I'm old enough to know when they used to be little brother. And yeah, no, they raise cups and we get knocked out with 3.4 seconds left. That's how it goes. I don't want to play Tampa.
Interesting.
That's
The
way it goes right now. That's who we'd be playing.
Well, that's going to be and look, in terms of the standings, it's going to be. I talked about this actually in the podcast a little bit. What we saw in Pittsburgh and in New York against the Islanders, we got 33 more games like that. Unless we're playing like the Sharks or something, because we're good. Okay. We're good. We're looking at the standings. We're like, I don't need to go up there.
Yeah. We're good.
Too worried about what's down there. Right. We're good. Everybody else is like, oh shit, there's a minute left. We're down by a goal. We got to kill ourselves because we need a point. So we're going to see a lot more of what we saw.
I'm just worried about the matchup.
What is it about Tampa that you're worried about? Just their experience, or?
Yeah, it's their experience. It's Cooch. It's knowing that Vasi can turn back into Vasi at any time. They're Tampa.
Yeah.
And I get it. Usually I'm not the superstitious one, but they're Tampa. And I get it. They lost to Toronto last year.
They lost to Toronto.
Yeah, maybe the NHL is rigged after all.
Well, let's put it just let's venture that guess, because if sports are rigged and the Chiefs made it back to the Super Bowl and pretty much everybody but Chiefs fans hates the Chiefs, who's the new team in the NHL that everybody but that team's fans hate? Panthers. Oh, we're dirty. We're dirty. So we're the ones that everybody hates now. That happened fast. We haven't even won a cup and everybody hates us.
Yeah, you would think it would be Vegas. Not only because of the cup, but Vegas's fan base doesn't have a very good reputation online.
Is that right?
Yeah, they have a chip on their shoulder, obviously, which they should have a chip on their shoulder. You know what I mean? Like, they get picked on for being new to the sport. Well, they're supposed to be new to the sport. That was the whole point of the NHL putting a team in Vegas. You shouldn't have to apologize for that. I'll give Vegas fans that. They also shouldn't have to apologize for the expansion draft, because they just took advantage of dumb GMs. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it sucks that we lost Marchessault. It's kind of why Talon got fired. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's what you're supposed to do. Take advantage of stupid GMs.
Right.
If that's the game.
Yeah.
However, they take that chip on their shoulder and just too much. Compensating too much for it. Like, it was a Napoleon complex that now they've won the cup. It's almost like Red Sox fans in the early 2000s, right?
I have
Remember
a question.
Red Sox fans before they won that World Series? And then they won the World Series?
I
already have the Boston asshole attitude, but
I have a question. And this is a legitimate question that sometimes I ask questions about myself and I'm surprised about the answer. So I could be a million miles off, or I could be right on the head. Don't judge me for this. Not you, but in general, people watching. Right. Don't judge me for this question. Whoa. Uh-oh.
No, we're good.
Okay. But here's the question. People, you talk about the Vegas fans.
Yeah.
Talk about Boston fans. And people talk about Toronto fans. And
everybody's the unholy trinity.
Okay. Nobody gives me any shit. I don't get any of them. So my question is, is it because I'm such a nice guy? Or is it because they're worried about the video that's going to get made about them should they give me any shit? Because I don't get any of them. So there's got to be a reason.
You do have good Toronto fans on the channel. Ken, what's his last name? Ken Morrow or whatever. Like, he's good, dude.
Yeah.
See, I'm saying it.
And Robert's a good dude. There's a couple of them. I mean,
I've got Vegas fans too. And you say you don't go on Twitter really anymore, and I don't necessarily go on Twitter too, but I'll see the tweets when they come through. I'll see it on Facebook a lot, like any of the Facebook pages, Spit and Chicklets page, Hooked on Hockey, Gloves Off, Hockey Instigators. You go to any of these pages, and take a poll of all 32 fan bases. Like, who is the most annoying? The top 3 are going to be probably in order: Toronto, Boston, Vegas.
Right.
And with us, they hate the team more than us because they still think we don't exist. Because the comments are still like, oh, the Panthers don't ever get any fans in the games. Like, we average 19,000 fans a game. Oh, well, 18,000 of them are fans of other teams. Not really, but cope however you want.
Right.
Like, that's most of the comments still about Panther fans.
Right.
But they definitely hate the team. They definitely hate the players. They definitely hate the organization, to the point where Vegas in particular. Now, I know in general, the internet is the internet, and the internet is not a representation of everyone. I lived in Vegas for 2 years. I've met people who are Vegas fans, who are good people.
Right.
Let me get that out there before I say what I'm saying next. When you go on those pages that I listed before, and you read the comment sections on those pages, I could not tell if Vegas fans were more happy about winning the cup or Kachuk breaking his sternum.
Wow.
Yeah, like genuinely celebrated Gudas's injury. Like they still Gudas ain't even on the goddamn team anymore. Right. And they still put up the meme with the quote above saying they're gonna hate me, and then him laid out on the ice injured. And the funny thing about that is you're making his point. You won the cup.
Right.
He's not on the team anymore.
Right.
You're still celebrating that he got hurt. Sounds like you hate him.
Yeah.
Sounds like you hate him.
Interesting.
And I know that's not Vegas fans. That's just how it looks on the internet.
Yeah.
Just like we know there's good Toronto fans, but on the internet they look like Dallas Cowboy fans. Like, it's almost exact to the point where they both say the dumbass rent free. Oh, we live rent free. You make fun of us because we live rent free. It's like, neither of y'all have won a championship in your sport since black people were allowed to play. All right? So that's not why we hate y'all.
Well, this channel has been nice. Having this channel has been great.
I know that's not true, but you get the point. It's been a long time for
We're
both
either
franchises.
that comment is either A, going to get a bunch of hate, or B, get a bunch of bring Trey on every day. Oh my
Just
God. Yeah, well, we're about to find out because nobody watches the football videos compared to the hockey videos. So we'll
right. Maybe they'll start watching the football videos now.
Wow, man. I did not see that.
It's been a long time, is all I'm saying.
It's Jesus Christ. Oh, the stick is signed by Peter Worrell. Okay,
Yeah!
in case anybody is worried about how it's
so
signed
bad.
by Peter Worrell, hanging on my wall.
I want that thing so bad.
I'm sweating now. I'm sweating, man. I'm sweating. Geez, well, I was telling Trey on the football. What? I'm trying to transition.
I didn't say shit.
I was telling Trey on the football channel, we got drunk and streamed both. Well, we streamed both games, so we got drunk streaming the second game because we were so depressed that the Chiefs won. And after the Lions blew their lead and blew the game to San Francisco, I apparently made a 5-minute rant video on the football channel. When I woke up, I didn't even remember doing it. And all I knew was I had a video on my channel called Dan Campbell Screws America. So it's been a week because apparently in that video, I might have come off as a hater of the Chiefs, which I am. I don't, there's no hockey team I hate. There's no hockey team I hate. There's no hockey player that rubs me the wrong way. There's none of that. And in football, 31 of the 31 teams, including the Dolphins, I'm fine. I'll root for Brock Purdy. I was rooting for Lamar Jackson. I'll root for all of them. But I just cannot stomach Mahomes, Kelsey, the Chiefs. Reed is okay. The only reason I'm okay, if Nick Sirianni was the Chiefs coach, I might be in trouble because I live so close to Philadelphia. Okay, I mean,
if Nick Sirianni was the Chiefs coach, you wouldn't have to worry about the Chiefs being a threat to the Super Bowl.
This is a good point. This is a good point. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's. I think part of it is I have a problem in general with the number of commercials during football games, and then 70% of the commercials are Mahomes or Kelsey. You know what I mean?
So I think if the Chiefs were already a hated team before she showed up. So for all the people who have shown up since she came around, like, oh, everybody hates the Chiefs because Taylor. No. Let's run it down. First, they're hated because they simply win all the time. Same reason the Patriots were hated. Except, here's a wrinkle to it. The Patriots, other than the Tuck rule they got in the very beginning, which technically was the right rule at the time.
Right.
After that, it was fake gate and exaggerate and this and that. And Goodell was messing with them every step of the way. And they were still winning. The Chiefs don't have any of that. If anything, the Chiefs are like the Patriots if Goodell actually liked the Patriots.
Exactly.
You are never going to see Patrick Mahomes get suspended 4 games for something the league can't prove happened. Whether or not you believe it happened, it could not ever be proven it happened, and they still suspended the greatest quarterback of all time for it. That's the first thing. Yeah. Then you get into Mahomes and his wife and his brother, and we already were disliking the Chiefs for that.
Right.
Then you throw Taylor into the mix, and I'll give Taylor this. It's not necessarily herself, but
no, it's not.
All the attention that is brought forward. But here's the thing. I'm not a tinfoil guy. I mean, I like talking about conspiracy theories because I think they're funny most of the time, but most of them I really don't believe. But it has to be noted that the Chiefs' value has gone up over $300 million since Taylor started dating Travis. And they get some of these weird calls in the playoffs. So it's like, you genuinely have to ask at that point, is the NFL literally by definition of the word, invested in the Chiefs being in the Super Bowl. I get real conspiratorial about it because last year around this time, they made the announcement for this year's Super Bowl that Taylor was going to be singing the halftime show. And it was the exact reaction that you would expect. And 2 or 3 days later, Taylor and her PR team said, no, actually, the NFL offered and we said no.
Right.
Kind of save face for both.
Yeah.
Want to get real conspiratorial? Maybe they're in this relationship just to see if she can ever actually do the halftime show in the future or not.
Well, I don't think. Let's put it this way. I don't think hockey's rigged.
No, but that's the thing. Like, people have to understand. Like, the Chiefs were already very much hated before Taylor showed up.
Right.
Taylor is just another layer to it. It is not a hating women thing. It's really not.
Look.
The only woman we hate in all of this is Jackson Mahomes. That's the only woman we hate in this. We don't hate Brittany Mahomes. She's just kind of annoying. We don't hate Taylor. Her fans are just kind of annoying. We do hate Jackson, though. But I will say this. To everyone that's saying this is about us not supporting women. Gracie Hunt, owner of the Chiefs, or part of the ownership family. Gracie Hunt is the same age bracket as Brittany Mahomes and Taylor Swift, and you never see Gracie Hunt hanging out with them.
Right.
So what does that tell you?
Exactly.
Even some of the ladies don't like them.
For me, it's like the celebrity worship stuff. It's like I wasn't a fan of when the Dolphins all of a sudden, like Fergie and Gloria Stefan and all of them were like part owners and all of that. I didn't like that either. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know what maybe I'm old school, whatever it is. It doesn't.
Canadian fans think the NHL is rigged, though. They'll tell you every day until the sun comes down that Gary Bettman has rigged the league so the Canadian teams can't win the cup. Because
wait. Hold on. Time.
Yeah, you really need to vet your comment sections more.
They gave them their own division in COVID. I mean, thereby giving them a guaranteed 25% chance.
I'm not saying every Canadian fan is like this, but every single Canadian team's fan base has a subsection of their fan base that is convinced the league is fixed and Gary Bettman is not allowing Canadian teams to win the cup, and all of these Southern teams are winning the cup just to expand the game and grow the sport and popularity of hockey, because that is easier to say than to admit that all of their organizations are incompetent.
Okay, let's take that at face value, shall we? Okay. Excuse the F-bomb.
It's getting good.
But how the fuck can you rig a hockey season? How can you? I mean, have people not seen, like in football, it wouldn't be all that difficult. Okay, a bad throw, a bad call. Now in hockey, I suppose you could get to a goaltender. Forget about the refs. If it's rigged, the players got to be in on it, right? Okay.
Not necessarily.
I mean, Bob won this series with this save off the knob of his stick.
Right. And that's why, like, you can't fix, like, it. You can't script it, is what I'm saying. Like, you can't script the puck going off of the knob. But what you can fix is a penalty here, a penalty there, the way the 2002 Western Conference Finals went in the NBA. Because the NBA was shitting their pants at the idea of a Sacramento, New Jersey finals. So they made sure it was a Lakers, New Jersey finals. And that's not a conspiracy theory. A guy went to prison for it. So that happened. The 2002 Western Conference Finals, at least game 6. And that's the thing. You don't have to fix the entire series.
Right.
Maybe you only got to help the team out for one game. Tim Donaghy only went to jail for what happened in game 6.
I don't know. I mean, I understand. I mean, I guess it probably sounds hypocritical to say I can understand how football could be rigged, but not hockey. So I can understand how that might sound hypocritical, but how could you rig hockey? I mean,
the only way is with penalties. call a bullshit penalty, give them a penalty shot for some absurd reason,
Yeah, but to do it on a level to where
take away a
none of
goal
the
for an offsides.
yeah, but to do it on a level where none of the Canadian teams could. That I
No,
just
no.
don't.
The Canadian fans are out of their tree. Like I said, they say that because it's easier than admitting that pretty much all of the teams are incompetent. Just my opinion. I think Montreal is the closest to winning a cup as far as how they're building their organization, what they're
Right.
doing, the direction they're going. I think Montreal is the closest Canadian team to winning a cup, and
Interesting.
they're years away.
Yeah.
Years away. But
Well,
like what they
yeah.
got with Caulfield and Suzuki and all that. But they're not the best Canadian team right now. The best Canadian team right now is Edmonton. But I don't think Edmonton has any shot at winning a cup. I think they need to rebuild. I think they need to trade one of the two. You'd imagine if, let's say, we are actually trading them for a second, it would probably be Leon. You'd want to keep McJesus.
Right.
But you need to trade one of them to build around the other one. You keep going into the playoffs with only two players getting smacked around.
Ekblad and Spencer Knight. Ekblad and Spencer Knight for Draisaitl?
Yeah, let's do it right now.
Oh, I'm in. I mean, the salary cap is.
They have more than just two players. They have Hyman. Yeah. They have I want to say OEL, but he's our player. But they have a 3-name guy too.
Right.
Nugent Hopkins.
Yeah.
Like they got dudes other than those two, but they still have a depth issue. When I say they only have two players, I'm being figurative.
Yeah.
But they have a depth issue to the point where they need to trade one of those two guys. So, like, reasons like that is why I say I think, in my opinion, Montreal is the closest to winning a cup, which shows you how bad the front offices are in Canada. And people want to blame it only on the weather or only on the taxes. We can tell y'all as Panther fans, there was a time when we had we still have every single benefit you would want. Great weather, no tax, reasonable fans, fun things to do in the city of Miami.
Yep.
But the front office was such a train wreck that we couldn't get people to come live in Miami.
Nope.
We couldn't get it to happen. So you need to have a competent organization. Because when you have a competent organization, hey, the taxes are almost as bad in California as it is 1% more Ontario to California for everyone overblowing the Canadian tax. The Kings have no problems getting people to come there. Now, granted, they have the weather, but New York has absurd taxes, awful weather, awful fans. Rangers have no problem getting people.
Right.
Bruins, taxes are a little better in Massachusetts, but the weather's worse and the fans are worse. No problem bringing people in.
Right.
Everybody has the cards that they're dealt. Some people have it easier. Yes, we have it easier. Vegas has it easier.
Yeah.
We are still proof that just because you have it on the easy button, you still need a competent organization. Unfortunately for the Canadian franchises, none of them do at the moment.
No, it ends up being where, from the outside looking in, this is me saying, but the pressure to win ends up kind of like Calgary's a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Knee-jerk reaction after knee-jerk reaction after knee-jerk reaction to where they're in this spot now where they've got like they got the Huberto contract and they got Uyghur and they're kind of happy with them and the goaltending they really have and they changed GMs and they're kind of the bubble playoff team, but nobody really takes them seriously. And there's no real there. You know what I mean? It's just like they're on the ice. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when that's all it is, they get torched to death by their fans. And it doesn't have to be the Toronto market. Like you said, it can just be Calgary can be unruly.
Yeah.
In fact, I mean, they always say that Alberta is like the Texas of Canada. So it actually makes sense that they get a little rowdy over there in Calgary.
I mean, the Panthers, I don't even know if I'm being hyperbolic, but genuinely speaking, the biggest critic of the Panthers that has any kind of even small platform is me. You know what I mean? Like if they don't do well, people are like, we'll go to the beach. And I'm the one yelling and screaming. I mean, our fans, obviously. I'm talking about people it's not like I'm just, it's me. You know what I mean?
If you were to venture across every platform, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, if anybody's talking about Panthers hockey on TikTok, YouTube, the only one who closely resembles, and I'm not going to say an unruly fan, the only person who even closely resembles that guy in the media who will actually ask the tough question,
right,
is you. Like,
right, and
you know,
I want to be clear. I'm not saying that in a braggadocious way. I'm saying
no,
that as in it is like if I was in Toronto, I'd be one of like 10,000 voices.
right.
Yeah.
And like, look at, we've talked about it like with Dangle, like, because we've talked about the difference between how your hockey channel and the football channel is growing. And I say, well, hockey's a niche sport.
Yeah.
And the Panthers are a niche team in the niche sport.
Right.
Having 7,000 subscribers is kind of like being a Leafs content creator with 100,000.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right. Right.
And that's not a disrespect to Steve Dangle. I think he's over like 1 million.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that are there to bitch about the Leafs.
Right.
That. And there's a lot of people in the media who are willing to ask that question. I'm not disrespecting anybody from the media outlets in South Florida. I'm not going to go in any direction like say they don't ask because they don't care or anything like that. Right. No, I'm not going to say that at all. I think at the end of the day, it's a benefit that we don't ask those questions too much. And I think and that's not to, I know I'm going back and forth here, but that's also not to say like for you to stop. Like they need someone to do it.
Right.
And the fact that it's only one guy on YouTube, that's great as far as having any pressure on them, but still at the same time, it's not a whole fan base and market of yes men.
Right. No, the worst fear they have is that I'm going to get a puppet name after them. That's really that.
Right, and half the
that's
time
like the worst.
Because something good happened.
You know. Yeah.
Like
Alex
Lyon got a puppet because something good happened.
Yeah. Let's see. I got Bob and Bennett. I got Bennett. That's it. That's all I got. Those are the puppets that are players. Francisco's not a player. Andy's not a player.
Sasha's a doll.
Sasha's a doll. Yeah, he don't even. Well, he don't. Sasha is the perfect example of Sasha. He's in the background, but he's always there. And if you're on the stream, you're like, "Where's Sasha?" It's like, there he is, right there. He does the same thing every night, but he's doing his thing. And if he wasn't there, he'd be like, "Where's Sasha, dude? We need." You know what I mean? He's the perfect embodiment of the captain.
And I think we have the perfect blend down here as far as the right amount of criticism. You are somebody who has a legitimate platform, and you do criticize the Panthers when needed, and you don't only criticize the Panthers. You know what I mean? Maybe Ekblad feels that way because he blocked you, but that's really not the only reason the channel exists. Like, we praise the team a whole lot. Like, if anything, I'm the one who hates the Panthers because I'm the guy in the chat always coming in saying this team stinks. But even that is a superstition in hopes that they win.
Well, I tell you, last thing I'll say, the one piece of evidence. I mean, I've heard. How do they say that? I've heard pray tell of stories of, but the one piece of evidence I know that somebody at some point was paying attention was Borgstrom's mom when he was on the team, and I was kind of like rah with Borgstrom, and he was getting a bunch of hell, and I was posting my videos to Facebook on the Facebook group at that point. She actually followed me and was interacting in the on the videos a little bit. So that's the only evidence I have that like a player or his representative or whoever like knew that I was, and it was good because I was being positive about him. You know what I mean?
Right. Listen,
that neck they're blocking me.
Listen, if Brandon Montour's mom is watching this. Tammy Montour's a beautiful woman. That's all I'm saying.
Jesus Christ. Well,
all I'm saying.
You know, I was going to ask you if you had anything else left to say that would get me canceled, but I didn't have to ask. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you adieu. This will be good. I will be paying attention to the comments on this one for sure. Because I don't. This should be fun. All right. Podcast. I gotta get the podcast out to everybody. That'll be out a little bit later than this video, or it depends on which one you're listening to first. That they're both probably all come out at the same time. You won't know what to listen to first. You're all gonna be confused because I already had the caricature of Trey for the football channel. So it's gonna be and they'll be like, wait a minute, something's not right. So I know there's gonna be some people seeing the thumbnail going, wait, what's going on here? And then I'm going to do a live tomorrow at noon, like we do with the reviews, just to shoot the shit with y'all. And 7 o'clock Thursday evening, we're going to do another shoot the shit. I can't name it the shoot the shit streams, but
YouTube.
Well, yeah, I can't. Yeah, probably not. You know what I mean? But the point to those streams is if you want to talk about it, put it in the comments. I'm going to talk about what people put in the comments. So if you don't like what people are putting in the comments and don't want me talking about that, put something else in the comments because I'm pretty good at getting to as many of the comments as I possibly can. So if we pick up a subject, you just don't trigger me about Owen Tippett. All right?
That's my job.
Don't put 4 and 5 and 6 comments about how Owen Tippett wasn't this and wasn't. And then unless you're trying to trigger me, then it's probably going to work. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what I just remembered though? To prove like to any Panthers players, family members, whomever that may be questioning whether or not you're positive or negative towards the team, watch the Anton Lundell video. Jaws is very positive about these guys.
Exactly.
Also, Tammy Montour.
Yeah. All right, I gotta go before we get canceled. Appreciate all the support. We'll see you guys again tomorrow.